I received a great question today. Is there a pathway under MPNP for self-employed persons? First and foremost, I am not a licensed immigration consultant or lawyer. The information shared is based on my personal experience, research, and publicly available resources from IRCC and the MPNP. This content is intended for informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal advice, okay? Now, if you have been running your own business or working as a freelancer, and you're thinking about applying to the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, let us clear up what your options are and what you need to be careful about. First off, the short answer is yes, but it depends. Self-employed experience is not usually accepted in the Skilled Worker Manitoba or the international education streams for points or eligibility. However, Manitoba does have a specific pathway for business owners and entrepreneurs. It's called the Business Investor Stream. I'll take you to the direct source for some valuable info, and I'll place the link in the description. Business Investor Stream is designed for people who have owned or managed a business and now want to start or buy a business in Manitoba. And to qualify, you will need a minimum net worth, usually 500,000 Canadian dollars or more. You will also need relevant business ownership or management experience, a viable business plan, language proficiency, at least CLB5, and you'll be required to sign a business performance agreement once it is approved. Now, you may ask, what about other MPNP streams? Well, if you're applying to the Skilled Worker in Manitoba stream, or the international education stream, self-employment generally does not count toward your work experience points. That said, you can still include it in your application for background history, especially if it is skilled work, for example, IT consulting or architecture. But don't rely on it to meet the minimum work experience requirements. Now let's talk about the business investor stream. First of all, here it is. This is for the Skilled Worker Manitoba. Once you look here, you will see right here, self-employed individuals, business owners, owner-operators, and individuals providing services as independent contractors to the business supporting their application are not eligible to apply under the Skilled Worker in Manitoba pathway, and any work experience in Manitoba gained in those capacities will not be considered when calculating the qualifying period of work experience or work in the province, right? So that's for the Skilled Worker in Manitoba. So at least you get that out of the way right here. I will link this in the description. Now, this is the pathway for such persons. You can apply under the entrepreneur pathway. And here, the province lists pretty much everything that you need to know. So we're just going to quickly run through it. I'll leave the link in the description so you can expand on your reading for yourself. The MPNP has launched a paper-based interim process for applying to the Business Investor Stream Entrepreneur pathway. The interim process uses the forms below. This process will be in place until technical changes to the MPNP online system are complete. And this is the process overview. These steps briefly show the process for applying to the entrepreneur pathway. So self-assess eligibility and the business research, that's step 1. Step 2, submit the expression of interest. Step 3, receive LAA, submit a complete application. Step 4, application assessment, sign a BPA, obtain a work permit. And step 5, establish a business and fulfill the BPA. And then step 6, final recommendation by the MPNP. So let's quickly run through each of these steps and see the expanded version. So for the self-assess, this is where the minimum requirement is. Business experience, minimum of 3 years of full-time work experience in the past 5 years, either as an active business owner, and that means you had minimum of 33% or 1/3 ownership of the business, or you were in a senior management role of a successful business. Okay? Net worth, minimum 500,000 Canadian dollars. Official language proficiency, minimum CLB 5. Education, minimum Canadian high school certificate equivalent. It doesn't mean that you have to be Canadian educated, but just the equivalent to a minimum Canadian high school. The self-assessment form will help you to determine your ranking score. And I would say if you were or are an entrepreneur, do the self-assessment because that can help to determine your score under the entrepreneur pathway. The full assessment of your eligibility will be done by the MPNP after a complete application is received. And there's an information session that you can attend while conducting your business research, and the information will provide you with the sessions. The information sessions will provide you with details about the BIS program of MPNP and information about how to do business in the province. Step 2, you submit your expression of interest to the MPNP. So once you've completed step 1, you can submit your UI by email, MPNP, that's email there, along with the following form. So you need their business concept form, self-assessment form, and the MPNP Code of Conduct form. Now these forms will also be included in this link. Once you scroll further down this page, it has all the details that are pertinent for you. Okay, so the EOI draws for the business investor stream are not currently being conducted. That's important to note, and it's also important for you to keep checking to see when the draws for the BIS are being done, because why would you want to apply when there's just no draws? So it's important for you to know that. The NPNP will issue either a letter of advice to apply if the EOI meets the program's requirements, or a feedback letter if the EOI is unsatisfactory. The NPNP aims to review all EOIs received within 4 weeks. Step 3 is to receive the LAA and then submit your complete application. You will be required to pay a processing fee by wire transfer in the amount of 2,500 Canadian dollars when submitting your application. Note that the processing fees, they are not refundable. And step 4, the assessment of your application. The complete application will be assigned to a business immigration officer for a full assessment. The assessment is based on the established criteria that the NPNP has. And the MPNP reserves the right to prioritize applications for a business that contributes significant economic benefit to Manitoba. So I guess it's based on how you present your information. So your application will be assessed by a minimum of 2 business immigration officers who will review the info provided, and then they will meet their recommendation either to approve or to refuse. Once an application is approved, then the business performance agreement must be signed prior to the MPNP issuing you a work support letter or a work permit support letter. The MPNP may invite you to attend an interview during the assessment process. Step 5, you establish your business in Manitoba and fulfill the business performance agreement. That's the BPA. Now, upon your arrival in the province of Manitoba, you must notify the NPNP in person within 30 days of your date of arrival to provide your Manitoba address and your telephone number. Okay? Important to note, you will be assigned to a business immigration officer who will become your contact person for any questions and concerns that you may have. As per the terms of your BPA, that's your business performance agreement, all approved applicants must report to the NPNP within 30 days of their arrival. They have stressed this again with a temporary work permit. The business immigration officers can provide you general guidance on the following: how to execute your proposed business plan, understand the local business environment and culture, understand the regulatory environment and related legal requirements, set up processes and functions for a successful operation, and to connect with external business support agencies based on your specific business startup plans. Progress report, you are required to submit the first progress report within 6 months of the date of arrival. and then the final progress report no later than 20 months after the date of arrival. Please be advised that you should have been operating your business for no less than 6 months immediately prior to submitting the final progress report to the MPNP. Final recommendation: if the MPNP is convinced that you have successfully fulfilled all the terms and conditions of your BPA, then a recommendation will be made to nominate you. This recommendation will be reviewed by the director of the MPNP before a final decision is made to issue you a confirmation of nomination. The confirmation of nomination will be sent to you by email. If the MPNP is not satisfied that you have successfully fulfilled all the terms and conditions in your business agreement, the business immigration officer will make a recommendation to refuse your application. Applications can be refused due to the following concerns, which include but are not limited to: 1. You fail to fulfill the BPA prior to the expiry date. It is confirmed that you have breached before its expiry date. The MPNP has discovered discrepancies of a relevant and material nature in your application or other documentation and or information if you have provided, and it is confirmed by IRCC or other official body or verification agency that documentation in your application is fraudulent. Okay? More details, all the steps, then you can download the Business Investor Stream Entrepreneur Stream Guideline and refer to the frequently asked questions. All these are clickable links. You can click on those and you can download the MPNP guide for Entrepreneur Pathway. Everything is outlined in this one. Also, there are frequently asked questions. You can click on that and you can see the frequently asked questions that can help you throughout this process. So information is there, it's loaded. All the forms, they're here and listed. This link will be in the description. You just need to go through this link and you will see all the pertinent information regarding the entrepreneur pathway if you're a self-employed person. Thanks for watching. If you get any value at all from this information, please hit the like button. Do subscribe if you have not already, and drop a comment or drop a question and I will sure to answer you, and I'll see you in the next video.